Hello my friends, and welcome back to another landscape photography vlog. In this adventure, we go to northern New Mexico to check out a spot that I've wanted to come back to and photograph for a long time, and I actually end up walking away with a bunch more photographs than I anticipated, and I honestly had so much fun in the process. Make sure you stick around until the end of the video to see all of the various photos and time lapses that I captured, and I hope you enjoy. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are adventuring in northern New Mexico. I'm currently about 10-15 minutes outside of Taos, New Mexico, where there's a large bridge that goes over quite a large gorge, and it is henceforth, or not henceforth, it has been known as the Gorge Bridge. There's a shot I've always wanted of it that I'd never gotten before, and so I decided to take a little last-minute trip and try to get that. Now, I have not been out here since like the day of, or maybe a couple days before, a couple days after. It was like within 3 days of the 2020 COVID lockdown happening, which was, mid to late March of 2020. Right around when that happened, I took a little solo trip right here, and then I continued on into Colorado and just car camped, similar to the little setup I have back there. And that was such a fun trip. I look back on that very fondly, and so it's fun driving this little bit of road that I haven't driven since then, thinking about, what a different time the world was at that point and who I was and everything. And it's funny how, similar some of the conditions are. It's not quite as cloudy and stormy as it was that day, but pretty similar nonetheless. So it's fun. It's nostalgic in a lot of ways, which I think is very fun. So like I said, we're about 10-15 minutes out, and we'll see kind of how things are looking. All right, well, hopefully you can hear me against any possible wind noise, but we have walked over to a good spot. I'm currently doing a time lapse right there of that whole view, and I'm shooting at 24 millimeters over here on the 24-105, so I'm getting a bit of a wider view there, not quite as wide as the GoPro, but while that's running, I have camera number 2 here. We have the 14 millimeter on this one, so definitely a different kind of perspective than what the 24-105 offers, but they're unique shots nonetheless. I'm having some fun kind of experimenting with it and seeing, what sort of perspectives we can find, one of which was right over here. So I walked over here to the right, and I noticed this bush right here, and it has like a little bit of a glow on it, just residual daylight hanging out there. And so if we come up with the 14 millimeter, you can see it's catching that bush in there, which I kind of like. It's like a nice little pop of color. First time lapse has finished, and some sunset colors are kind of coming and going. They left the frame that I was mainly shooting, so I'm just doing stills over in that direction, but I still wanted to run a time lapse. So now we have this rolling. They're a bit of a tighter shot, not much, but a little bit, shooting out this direction, trying to catch the motion happening right in here. I think there's some nice color bouncing right on those little rain deposits, if you will. The moon obviously rising up. And as the sun is going down right now, we should get an interesting gradation of color through this. So I'm actually quite excited about that one. Not sure how it'll turn out, but I am hopeful. As you can see back here behind me, the sunset colors have actually come through just a bit more. I wish I had filmed like 3 minutes ago, but I was on the phone with someone. But we had a lot of nice color pop all through here, and a little bit of light shone through, which gave us some more soft pink light on all of this. So it's actually turning out to be quite a beautiful scene, which is really unexpected. I thought that horizon would have just blocked everything out, but so far we're looking pretty good. Definitely getting some fun images the whole time. Yeah, what a great spot, what a great night. Well, the sun has gone down, and now it's just time to wait, basically. Thankfully, I did a little looking on photo pills, and that should be north, right there above the bridge. So hopefully this wind is getting blocked. Hopefully that means here in a bit when it gets dark, I'm going to be able to come out and do some star trails over the bridge, which is the shot that I was wanting. So fingers crossed, we're going to go hang out in the car for a bit. I'm going to eat a bagel and just wait it out. All right, let me walk you through tonight's dinner. To start, we have Boulder brand avocado oil green chili chips. Greatest chips on the planet if you ever get the chance to eat some. And following that, our main course is a bag of cinnamon raisin bagels. Kind of fun. And if we, get the desire to have a little sweet tooth, have a little treat, we have some spearmint gum. And just in case that isn't enough, we have tea tree oil toothpicks. You know what? I'm gonna treat myself now. Well, unfortunately, we were snubbed by the clouds. As you can kind of see there behind me, the moon is getting obstructed itself, which has, even if the sky were clear where I was shooting, the fun contrast that was on the foreground is now gone, which makes for much less interesting images, so I'm packing it up for the night. But what's nice is I got 2 almost 300 image time lapses from the 2 cameras, and in looking at both of them, they're actually pretty cool. And funnily enough, the 24-105 vertical time lapse happened to be my favorite between the 2 so far. Haven't edited them at home. And I also did some just still images with the 14mm while that one ran. But the silver lining to all of this, though, is that even though these clouds snubbed our astro capabilities, if these clouds, both where they're sitting and the types of clouds they are, if these stick around for sunrise, this will be a really, really, really beautiful sunrise. So we can hope for that. That is what I am banking off of. And yeah, we're just going to cross our fingers on that one. So I'm headed back to the car. I'm going to chill out and try to sleep a little bit, and see y'all at 5:30. Good morning, everyone. It has been only about 6 hours since I saw you last, and I feel terrible. I slept awfully. That's a whole other story. It's almost sunrise. There's a little bit of light coming up. The clouds that snubbed me a few hours ago do not seem to be here anymore. There's a little bit of texture in the sky. It's hard to tell with this kind of light exactly how it'll play, but there's something. So, fingers crossed that we'll get some good results. I think I'm only going to walk a little ways down the path and not go all the way back to the spot where I shot both sunset and the stars last night. I think being a little more side by side with the bridge and just getting a little bit different perspective where you get a bit more depth might be more interesting. So I think we'll do that this morning, which sounds great because that is a much shorter walk, and I just do not have the energy to walk in the cold at the moment. So that sounds nice. So I think we have probably 40 minutes or so until we start getting some actual potential light up in those clouds. So let's hope we find something nice. So we're running a time lapse on the 14mm here. Just looking at it compositionally, I think I want the wideness to catch the sky over here to the right where it's nice and colorful. There's some nice texture and clouds over here to my left, the bridge itself, so I think 14 is going to be the way to go. For the time lapse, And then for the still images, I'll just use the 24 to 105 and kind of walk around, and that way I have some zoom to play with and see if any different compositions, arise over the course of sunrise. So, well, we have some gorgeous color already coming through, and it's lasting a bit longer than I thought it would. These were lighting up a minute ago, and they're dimming out a bit, but we're getting some nice color back behind them, and they have some cool shape. But these ones back here are definitely providing some nice interest. So, I mean, what a wonderful morning. What an absolutely gorgeous view we have here. All right, we're approaching my favorite time in the morning, when, let's see if I can catch it, the burn starts to come through. It's starting right there. Hopefully, it'll catch these other clouds here. Hopefully a little something here, catch those a little there. But we got color. That's what we like to see right there. I feel very lucky. This is one of those times as a photographer when you're out, you're doing your thing, and you just feel good. You just feel in your element, happy. I feel incredibly thankful during sunrises. I know that feels a little frou-frou maybe, but there's just something so special about being awake as, Earth, or at least my part of Earth, wakes up to. It's just such a great experience. So I feel very happy right now, and I'm happy with the time lapse we're getting, the photos we're getting. So yeah, top tier morning for sure. Well, we're finally getting some great color right here. Thankfully, that's right where the time lapse is running, but definitely want to try to get some stills right here. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, wow. I'm glad I'm rocking the 14 millimeter on that camera, but damn, I wish I had it for some vertical stills right now, because that's just perfect right there. Wow. It's exactly what I wanted. Man, how lovely is that? I think right now I'm shooting at 24 millimeters, trying to get the bridge and everything all together. I think because I have, the option to go to 105 here, I think I'm going to see what it's like to bypass the bridge and just shoot the mountains and the sky right there. It's not interesting, but wow, great color right there, right above the bridge. I'm actually very thankful that I chose the spot that I did, because last night we were shooting, right over there and shooting the bridge pretty straight on. But if I were over there shooting the bridge from that spot, I'd be catching probably that sky back behind it. But instead, because I positioned myself right here instead, we're catching the really nice color and texture directly above it, which I don't think I would have gotten from that spot. So I think that was a bit of luck right there that I made that call and it panned out. So even though this is where a lot of the beauty is happening, I'm trying to make a habit, and I kind of want to make a video out of this, of turning the other direction, seeing what's happening behind me, because there's actually some nice stuff happening right here. I think we got some nice little subtle texture up in those clouds, and we have some fun texture and color down here in the rocks and the foliage. I think what I'll probably do is stop the time lapse just before the sun comes up right there, and use the 14 mil, turn it to f/16, and try to get a sun star coming right out of that peak there. I think that'll be really, really nice. So I'll have to time that here in a sec. And we'll probably have to cut this just a little short, but by the time that's poking up, the color should be mostly gone from here, so it should be okay. I think just for the sake of it, let's let the time lapse run. And let's just walk down just a hair and see if we have any better perspectives. Just down a little bit. Bit of a sketchy spot. Oh, you know what? It's really interesting, actually. This little cliff face, if you can call it that, is giving us a nice little bit of extra color and interest there if we're shooting vertically. We lose the view of the river a bit, but we do get some interesting textures and shapes right there instead. Well, I think we are just moments away from the sun peeking up right there, and we can hopefully try to get a sun star out of it. We have some light dappling the canyon walls over there, as it comes out of this part between the two mountains right there. So that's kind of fun, having some nice light to play with on the background. I'm hoping that this doesn't look too tacky. That's my fear with sun stars. Sometimes they feel a bit old school in a way that's not emblematic of my style. So there it is. There it is. Alright, this is go time. Go, go, go. The thing with sun stars is you only have a couple of seconds before it really kind of ruins the image. And that's really all she wrote. The thing with the sun star is you have to get it right as it's cresting over so that you get the star, lines coming down, but not so much that it's now like a point of overexposure in the image. There's a very, very brief window when that can happen. I think before I pack up, I'll grab the 24 to 105 one more time. Just see if there's any other compositions I can play with over here. And see, this is where having a variable zoom lens can really be quite nice, even though, they can take a hit in quality and aren't as fast. With that 14 millimeter, I'm done. There's really, that shot is now done. I think the sun is ruining having a really wide view here. Nothing of interest there really anymore. So that lens is kind of out, but having the option of going from really wide to almost telephoto is really cool because it allows you to now explore areas in a different way. I'm going to try to get this left column of the bridge with a car going over it. I think that could be a little interesting. We shall see. We're just waiting for a car. I heard one. Oh, it should be coming. Oh, it's a semi. Okay, this could work. Alright, well, that's something. I think with that, I'll head back to the car. I feel pretty satisfied with all of that. Well, we're all packed up, walking back to the car, and I know I already said this earlier, but the feelings of gratitude and like luckiness that I feel after having mornings like these it's just such a profound feeling, and I hope each and every one of you gets to experience this feeling more than just once in your life. I hope that you get to experience this regularly, where you're filled with such a sense of wonder, of calm, of just happiness, excitement for the rest of the day. It's an addictive feeling, I think. Well, my friends, I certainly hope you've enjoyed this video. I honestly am a little surprised with the work that I walked away with. I went on this trip anticipating getting something really fun at night with the stars, and ended up walking away with not a single star image, but instead a plethora of beautiful sunset and sunrise photos that I'm really, really happy with. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so that you never miss another video, and I'll see you next time.